as always, I'm your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you once again with another fight review. This time, coming in a little late on this one, going all the way back a week and a half ago to UFC Fight Night Singapore, Cowboy versus Edwards. This fight was in the women's strawweight division. We have Xiaonan coming in at 8-1 versus Viviane Pereira out of Brazil, coming in at 13-1. This was a pretty interesting fight to watch. Once again, another entirely stand-up fight coming from the ladies. No one even attempted to take down this one. Didn't surprise me at all from Jan. Definitely surprised me from Pereira. I thought, she would have had her best chances on the ground. Xiaonan came in as a slight underdog at plus 140. Guys, let me tell you something. This fight was a masterwork display of excellent footwork, using your height to your advantage, and just all around outworking your opponent. Round one, Jan, she outcircled Pereira. She outstruck her. She outstruck her. She outworked her on the feet. She used her footwork excellently. She mixed in her kicks and her punches, especially Jan's kicks with her lead legs are truly a thing of beauty. It makes me want to see more Sanda fighters come into the UFC, more Sancho fighters, because if that's the type of thing that they do, I want to see more of it. The only other ladies fighter I've seen in the UFC that utilizes their lead leg for kicks like that is Rose Namajunas, and she's not that good. She's not as good as Jan in that respect. So I really hope to see more female Sancho fighters in the UFC in the future. Second round was more of the same, and the third round, again, more of the same. Pereira had her moments, and they were almost always because of overhands. Like, she would throw these looping overhands that would find their mark, but they were like one, and maybe she'd land one follow-up, if that. And that was really her only moments in the fight. Overall, Pereira failed to cut off the cage, and she failed to get inside for I'd say for like 90-95% of the fight. You look up at the stats on UFC.com, and Jan landed 20 total strikes in round one to 9 of Pereira's. Round two, 27 to 23, and round three, 24 to 12. So that's 2 out of 3 rounds. Jan literally landed twice as many strikes as Pereira. Now, Pereira, I would say, got in the harder strikes when she did land, but again, they were like one at a time, maybe 2. There's a few instances where she threw an overhand and then got a hook, but for the most part, Jan was able to utilize the distance, you use her height to keep that distance and the footwork. It was something to truly see. If you're a technique junkie, you definitely want to watch this fight because it was amazing. Jan never went backwards. She never walked backwards. She was always to the right, to the left. She would cut angles out. She would go to the side. She never went in reverse when Pereira would try to come forward, and she was always circling. If you were to try to follow her footwork, it would look like one of those weird pattern things you did as a kid, where you'd put the pencil into the stencil and it would go around in a circle, and you'd come up with some weird, funky looking design like a snowflake or something. That's what Jan's footwork looked like. It was something truly to behold, because you rarely see footwork this good in MMA, not even in the men. It was just an overall amazing utilization of footwork in combination with kicks with the lead leg and her hands. Fast, very fast hands, very fast kicks. Uh, I was very impressed with Jan overall. She's impressed me in I think I've seen like 5 of her fights now, and she's always impressed me in them. Uh, Things to work on. Yan Xiaonan, I really wanted to see what she could do if Pereira got her down. She's rarely ever gets taken down. I'd love to have seen what she could have done on the ground. But that's, again, it's hard to say to work on that if your opponent doesn't want to take you down. Um, I also want to see a little bit better head movement from her, because the punches that Pereira threw, the overhands, they were fast, but they were telegraphed. I mean, she was bringing her shoulder back to throw them. And I mean, they were coming from way outside. So I'd like to see better head movement from Jan. Things to work on for Pereira. You know what? She did not fight to her strengths at all. And, yeah, she didn't fight to her strengths at all. She didn't go for a single takedown attempt. She seemed content to stay on the outside. When she did get on the inside, she didn't keep it up. Like, she didn't apply the pressure at all. When you're 5'0", or whatever height she is, let me see. See if I can bring up her height real quick. Yeah, literally 5'0". You're 5'0", and you're facing a taller opponent. You need to bring the pressure. You need to get in on the inside, and you need to stay on the outside. And if your opponent has a ground game that might be suspect, you need to get her to the ground. You need to work that takedown. Apply the pressure, get on the inside, stay on the inside, and work for the takedown. She did none of this. She didn't cut off the cage at all. She finally started to try in the third round, but wasn't very effective at it. Jan was still outworking her on the feet. And she just did not, she overall, let Jan dictate, not only where the fight took place, she let her dictate the pace of the fight. Pereira did not fight to her strengths. She fought to her opponent's strengths, and it did not work out for her at all. Matches to make. Pereira, this is 2 losses in a row for her. The UFC is going to have to decide what they want to do with her. They'll probably match her up against someone who also is on a downturn right now. I'd have to look up someone to see who they could possibly match her up with. For Jan, I'd like to see her fight someone in the 10 or 11 to 15 range. I think she has loads of potential. Her striking is something just to watch. It's a technique lover's, kickboxing lover's dream. So I want to see her, really fight someone who will maybe challenge her, bring the pressure to her more. So I definitely want to see her someone like that in the her again. I want to see her against someone like that in the 10 or 11 to 15 range in the rankings. Guys, let me know what you thought about the fight in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And hey, why aren't you subscribed yet? WMMA Now, the best wins mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Guys, have a good night.